Yeah, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? So Sword Art Online. Um, they're really getting interesting, in my opinion, with just how they continuously come up with all these like ideas in general to have worlds pretty much going through certain tragedies or, leadership issues and stuff like that. I mean, this is very similar to what we saw in the Elfhine world or whatever like that. So it's actually not too surprising to me to see this. Because at the same time, when you look at it, um, you kind of get the feeling that whoever, like this person that pretty much taught all of this in the first place, whatever they were going for, um, like they achieved it to a degree, because I feel like we've already kind of seen the person who went out of their way to do this or to have the people feeling this way. So, um, with what we saw with Asuna pretty much walking through the hallway and like walking past somebody that kind of caught her attention, I think that was their really first and like only little nudge to saying that someone on the outside world clearly wants whatever's going on in here to continue to happen. And because of that, whoever's overlooking that aspect of this whole thing is pretty much not even giving the right representation that was probably needed from them once they actually found these bugs or found these different things. Um, so I think it's pretty obvious to me that where we're going with this is probably maybe trying to change, or I mean it's Kimito, so he's already in like five different move sets. Oh, that's messed up. They put these guys right there, so I couldn't go past them. They're already putting Kimito on a spot where he wants to pretty much fix or help any way possible. But not only that, they're also telling him that you got to um, pretty much pick or choose at this point. You got to either do this or do that. And of course, Kimito being Kimito wants to make propose a third option. So that's just the way he rolls. And I mean, some people hate him for that, some people love him for it. So take that as you will. If it's something that already is going to trigger you about the show, then definitely want to stop watching now, because this is probably where it's going to be going in the future. Um, but yeah, Kimito pretty much this episode just learned everything else he hadn't, pretty much, and after learning it all, like I said, he's going to propose a different like alternative instead of destroying like the whole entire world itself, and then trying to pretty much how did she put it? She pretty much wanted to turn everything into nothingness, and after turning it into nothingness, have a whole entire like world with just like 10 people in it of Kimito's picking, and maybe they can restart from scratch or something like that. So it's almost like just like resetting your game, but instead of being able to just like hit the reset button, you literally gotta beat the whole entire game, or like you literally got to find the boss and destroy her, because if you don't, you ain't resetting nothing. So I thought that was a very sword art esque weird, story plot thing that they're throwing in there. So very, very cool. The other thing The other thing that really caught my attention and made me laugh was just Kimito finding out how many floors there were. It's almost like he can't escape the number 100. Because I'm pretty sure that's how many numbers there were, or floors there were in the SAO the first game. And so, I mean, it's just like history, or like just the 100, or just like floors in general are always going to be after that kid. So we got a lot to uncover with this. I'm kind of happy they did give this whole episode, because it would have kind of sucked to hear this whole explanation and get this hug and all this stuff, and then come to find out that there was still some stuff that she needed to pretty much talk about and whatnot. So very interested into seeing just how powerful these knights are, because she now the librarian, Cardinal, I think they started calling her. She pretty much gave us a summary of like how powerful these guys truly could be, and because of how powerful they are, um, that Kimito and Blonde Kimito are going to have to pretty much like get their weapons back, and maybe even learn some more things like on the road. So I like that aspect as well. This weapon has. I always keep trying to block with it. I need a better dodge. But if you really understand like what they're going for in this show, like this episode didn't feel wasted. Unlike something like JoJo, where they literally just had the preview of, or not a preview, it was like episode 13.5, right? And that's just them telling the audience, and telling, the whole entire anybody who watches it, that hey, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. And I guess those episodes make sense for people who maybe just tune in and they don't want to watch it all, but like, really? I never understood it. So this episode felt like one of those episodes, but it actually progressed the story still. Like we could have got a whole story, or like the other backstory for those guys in JoJo about their background in Golden Wind, that are hunting down the daughters, like maybe a little bit more information into their reasoning to why they're doing stuff. But of course, they're going to save that for the actual show. I'm just saying, instead of just seemingly wasting a whole like week up for an episode just to tell us something that the fans have been watching daily, or weekly, I should say, seemed kind of like gratuitous. But that's just me. I want to truly get to see the full like story of Sword Art, and Sword Art having enough episodes to pretty much flesh out everything they want. Kind of like Radiant, and kind of like other shows that are getting like 24 episodes. I think even the Rise of the Heroes Shield, or the Rise of the Hero Shield Hero, is getting that many episodes. So there's those things that really deserve that, and I hope they flesh out everything from the manga, and steal as much content as possible to make the episodes feel more realistic and feel more uh, loved in a sense. So I am truly, truly looking forward to what Sword Art has to bring, mainly because of the fights, and mainly because like the graphics are just amazing. Sword Art always had amazing, amazing graphics. So to know that I am going to get some crazy fights in the show yet again, I can't wait. And not only that, I then get to see, shows that are not so much on par, but close to it, trying to compete with Sword Art. And I think that's also pretty fun, because like, for instance, Radiance has this really weird, like, shaky um after hit. Like every character that gets hit in that show, just look at how much the screen is shooken by the hit. Like it feels like even like the cameraman, who doesn't even exist in the world, is kind of at risk because these hits are so strong. And I mean, it even comes from just like punches and kicks and stuff like that. So it's just a fun way, I think, that animators and like people who are just behind the scenes trying to make the show look as good as it can do these little things to make it more unique than other shows that you may have already seen. And I like that. But then when you go to Sword Art, it's just that classic in your face, chopping each other up and someone getting bloody, and maybe the other guy got bloody, but he's still gonna make a comeback. Just that classic stuff. None of that shaking or anything. Just in your face action. um, but yeah, big fan of how they've been making some of these animations just look ridiculously amazing, and to get to watch it yet again unfold at the start instead of just watching it all at like binge watching it, because I think I binge watched Sword Art. Like I wasn't watching it weekly back then. It wasn't something that I think I knew about that well, or had a way to watch it on the weekly. So now that things have changed and I get to watch this and be first to see it and give my opinion on it, I absolutely can't wait to see the finals, or like the best things that they've saved their most money to animate and stuff like that. So with that, guys, we really only learned just like the full-on story, more about the administrator and just what the whole entire plan is to actually subdue her, and if it's even possible, why they want to do it, and all that type of stuff. So it was a good story plot to get out of the way, in the sense of now we can flesh out everything else of these fights, of these characters that we fight, because supposedly they might be able to save even more knights than they originally even had in mind. So if they could somehow get those crystals out of their heads that we learned about as well, we could be seeing, a lot of very powerful allies, not even just the ones that were in the school that we saw that were ridiculously strong, but also these knights who supposedly, one of them, was the guy who actually they all like defeated dragons almost. So every dragon out there that was very powerful has been defeated because of this administrator sending people out to do so. So those are all people out there that could potentially teach Kimito something, or just even be in his way and actually give him crazy fights. So keep all that in mind, guys. But anything's possible, really, with this sword art stuff. That's why it's so fun to watch. I mean, not anything. People know what's going to happen verbatim because of the manga. Just not I, and a couple people that are probably watching it with me. So if you are one of those people that do know, try not to spoil. It definitely helps the experience more if we know less about something that we're trying to stay away from. I'm just trying to stay away from the manga, so I'm actually surprised when things happen. So that's always been my kind of outlook on it, so I can have a better um, experience through the anime. And I found that out the hard way by watching Tokyo Ghoul Re and just hearing how many comparisons there were to the anime and the manga. So because I didn't read it, I had no problem looking past those flaws. And I'm going to do the same thing if there are flaws in this, or even perfections that weren't in it before. So thank you guys for watching. If you wouldn't mind, if you made it this far, drop down there like Anime G Squad or something. Plus, go check out Radiant. I'm not sure everybody like cares too much for Radiant, so it would be nice if we can still try to get it some support, because it's an amazing anime in my opinion. And if it isn't getting that many views and stuff, it only makes sense that maybe when people start seeing that people are watching it, they'll give it a chance, or just go and share the video and let them be the judge. So thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope that we can keep growing this channel and having more good conversations on it about just about anything anime, or just other things that we like in general. So thank you guys so much for making this a fun place for me to be able to talk to you guys and enjoy myself. So I hope you guys enjoy yourselves as well sooner or later. But with that, my anime people, I am out of here. I am the Anime G. And with that, I hope you guys have an awesome day, night, evening, whatever the case is. And when the next video comes out, I can't wait to talk to you guys in that. So with that, peace.